You want success, real success. Then let's get something clear right now. Success isn't a one-shot event. It's not something that lands in your lap because you got lucky or because someone handed it to you. Success isn't a leap, it's a climb. Day by day, step by step, decision by decision. You don't just wake up one morning and find yourself at the top of the mountain. You get there because you made the climb even when your legs were burning, even when it felt like nothing was changing, even when no one was watching. Most people think success is a moment, a trophy, a check, a title, but I'm here to tell you it's none of that. Success is the process. Success is in the unseen hours. It's in the mornings when your alarm goes off and every part of you wants to hit snooze, but you get up anyway. It's in the late nights when everyone else has gone home and you're still grinding. It's when you say yes to discipline and no to comfort. Listen, everyone wants the outcome, but very few are willing to endure the process. That's the difference. That's the separator. Most people are looking for shortcuts. They want hacks. They want to skip the line, but here's the truth. There is no elevator to success. You've got to take the stairs. And the stairs aren't glamorous. They're not sexy. They don't make for a good Instagram reel, but they work. They always work. When you build success day by day, you're not just building results, you're building you. You're developing mental toughness. You're sharpening your focus. You're forging discipline in the fire of repetition. And repetition is the mother of mastery. You don't master your craft by dabbling. You master it by showing up again and again and again until what once felt impossible now feels like second nature. See, the problem with waiting for big moments is that they rarely come. You don't need one big break, you need 100 small wins that stack up over time. Every single day is a brick. You're either laying that brick with intention and excellence, or you're throwing it aside and hoping the wall gets built by itself. It won't. You're the architect, you're the builder. And guess what? You're also the reason it will work or it won't. Some people live in this illusion that when the right time comes, then they'll go all in. Let me tell you, there is no right time. There is only now. You build your legacy in the present, not someday, not next week, not when you feel more ready, right here, right now, with what you have, with who you are. Because success doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to your execution. And yes, the climb is hard. It's supposed to be. That's how you grow. You can't get stronger if everything's easy. You can't develop character if you always avoid resistance. The climb is what makes the view worth it. The climb is what shapes you into someone who can handle success once you reach the summit. You don't just want success, you want to be the kind of person who deserves it, who has earned it through consistency, through discipline, through sacrifice. And let me tell you something else. Every day that you show up when it would be easier to quit, every day you follow through when no one is watching, every day you demand more from yourself than what's convenient, that's a win. That's you gaining ground. That's you separating yourself from the average. Most people coast, they settle. They wait, you're climbing, the beautiful part. It's not about being perfect. You're going to slip. You're going to miss a step. You're going to have setbacks. That's part of the process. But you don't stop climbing. You recalibrate. You recommit. You re-engage. You keep going. Because the climb isn't about speed, it's about direction. It's about momentum, and momentum, once it's on your side, becomes a force that makes the impossible feel inevitable. You want to change your life, then stop trying to change your life in one day. Start showing up for yourself every day. Start mastering the moment you're in. Start stacking disciplined days, one on top of the next, until your habits become your identity, and your identity produces the results you've always dreamed about. You're not chasing success, you're becoming it, and that journey, the climb, begins today. You want to build something extraordinary in your life, then you've got to stop waiting for the perfect year, the perfect month, the perfect moment, and start focusing on winning the day. That's it, one day, one 24-hour stretch. You master that and you're on your way to mastering your life. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about being fully engaged in the now. Because here's the truth. The quality of your life comes down to the quality of your days. You win the day, you win your life. See, too many people get caught in the trap of chasing some distant dream, thinking they'll be happy or fulfilled or successful when they reach a certain milestone. But you don't reach the big stuff by jumping over the process. You reach it by owning your day. You get control of your future by taking control of your present. If your daily habits aren't aligned with the vision you have for your life, then you're lying to yourself. You can't say you want to be great while living like everyone else. You can't talk about goals and then sleepwalk through your routine. Every day, your actions are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. So ask yourself, what kind of vote are you casting? Are you building momentum or are you breaking it? Are you showing up with intention or are you just reacting to whatever shows up? Because here's the thing, life is going to happen. Challenges are going to come, distractions are everywhere, but you've got to decide that no matter what shows up, you show up stronger. That's how you win the day. That's how you take the power back. People wait for motivation, they wait for the right mood. But successful people don't wait, they decide. They decide how the day is going to go before it even starts. They condition their mind, they set their intention, and they attack it. Not perfectly, but powerfully. They have rituals, they have structure, because when your life lacks structure, it gets filled with chaos. And when you live in chaos, your future becomes a gamble. You're better than that. Your dreams are too important for you to keep living on autopilot. Every day is a gift, and I don't mean that in a cheesy bumper sticker way. I mean it as a wake-up call. You have 24 hours today. What you choose to do with it is either pushing you forward or holding you back. There is no neutral. You're either growing or decaying. You're either stepping into your potential or shrinking from it. And that's the hard truth most people don't want to hear. But if you're going to rise, if you're going to lead, if you're going to dominate in your life, then you've got to own that truth. So what does it mean to win the day? It means you don't just wake up and go through the motions. You prime your mind, you fuel your body, you choose how you're going to feel instead of letting the world dictate it. You take action on the most important things, not the most urgent. You focus your energy, not scatter it. You measure success by what you did with what you had today, not by some fantasy of perfection. And if you mess up, you reset. You don't spiral. You don't wait until next week to try again. You breathe, you refocus, and you step right back into it. Because greatness isn't built in streaks. It's built in standards. When you raise your standards for how you show up each day, everything else starts to shift. Your identity shifts, your confidence grows. Your results compound, but it all starts with this simple truth. Today matters, not someday, not later, not when you're ready, now. Because now is where your life is actually happening. Now is the only time you can influence. And if you keep stacking one-a-days, if you keep showing up with purpose, if you keep following through on your standards, then the future doesn't just get better by chance, it gets better by choice. So stop waiting to change your life next month. Start winning today. Let me tell you something most people won't. Motivation is a myth. Not because it doesn't exist, but because it's unreliable. You can't build a meaningful life on a feeling that comes and goes. You ever notice how fired up you get after hearing something inspiring? And then 2 hours later, you're right back to scrolling, procrastinating, or doing the same thing you promised you'd change. That's because motivation gives you a spark, but it doesn't keep the fire going. What does your standards? Your standards are what shape your life. Not your feelings, not your mood, not your energy levels, your standards. You have to raise the bar on what you accept from yourself, not just when you're feeling good, but especially when you're not. Because anyone can show up when it's easy, anyone can follow through when they're hyped, but real growth happens when you push through resistance, when you do the work even though every part of you wants to check out. That's the difference between people who talk about success and people who create it. You want to be one of those people, then you've got to stop relying on motivation and start living by your non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? What are the standards you've set for how you operate every single day, no matter what? Because if you haven't defined them, then life will define them for you. Your environment will decide. Other people's opinions will decide. Your distractions will decide. But when you have standards true, deeply held standards, you don't let life push you around. You move with power. You lead with discipline. You execute whether you feel like it or not. It's easy to stay stuck in patterns when your standards are too low. You say you want more, but you keep living in alignment with the same old behaviors, and let me be real with you, nothing changes until your standards do. Nothing. You're not going to attract greatness with average habits. You're not going to unlock potential while playing small. You've got to draw the line. You've got to look yourself in the mirror and say, "This is who I am now. This is how I operate. No excuses. No exceptions." And yeah, that kind of discipline is uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. It's not what most people want to hear, but guess what? Most people settle, most people tolerate, most people survive. If you're here to thrive, to build, to dominate, then your life has to be built on something stronger than a wave of motivation. It has to be built on personal responsibility, on decisions, on daily execution. The most successful people you know aren't the most motivated, they're the most committed. They don't hope it happens, they make it happen, because they've conditioned themselves to follow through no matter what. It's a muscle, you train it, and the more you do it, the stronger it gets. You train yourself to do what needs to be done, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when you're tired, especially when no one's clapping for you. That's how you build inner power. That's how you earn confidence. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's the gateway to everything you say you want. You want freedom in your finances. Then you need standards around your spending and your earning. You want freedom in your body. Then you need standards around what you put into it and how you move it. You want deep, fulfilling relationships. Then you need standards for how you communicate, how you listen, how you love. Everything great in life is on the other side of standards, and I don't mean perfection. I mean consistency. I mean showing up as the best version of yourself even when you don't feel like it. Because let's be real, feelings are temporary, but the consequences of your actions or inactions are not. You don't rise by doing what's easy, you rise by doing what's necessary, and the beautiful thing is, once your standards are solid, you don't need to get motivated anymore. You just act. It becomes who you are. It becomes automatic. So if you're tired of starting over, if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're done riding the roller coaster of motivation, then set the standard. Raise it, live it, because once your standards rise, everything else follows. Your habits follow. Your results follow. Your identity follows. And that's how real transformation begins. You don't need another motivational video. You need to decide what's non-negotiable. You ever feel like no matter how hard you try, the results just aren't showing up fast enough? Like you're pushing, grinding, showing up and wondering, why isn't it happening yet? That's where most people give up. That's where most people throw in the towel, not because they're weak, but because they don't understand how success really works. They expect the big leap. They want the overnight change. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come in explosions, it comes in drops. Small, consistent actions repeated over time create massive momentum. You've heard it before, 1% better every day. Sounds simple, right? But most people underestimate what 1% really does. They look at small progress and think it doesn't matter. They think, what's the point? So they skip the workout, they break the promise, they delay the action, and that's the trap. Because just like 1% better compounds into greatness, 1% worse compounds into regret. What you do today may not seem like a big deal, but over time, it's everything. You want to know what creates unstoppable momentum. It's showing up daily, no matter how small the step, and stacking those steps. Brick by brick, action by action. The people you admire, the ones crushing it in life, they're not superhuman. They're just relentless with the fundamentals. They don't wait for a perfect day to take massive action. They focus on consistent right actions. They understand the power of compounding. Think about this. You don't get out of shape from one bad meal, and you don't get fit from one workout. But do that over time, one donut every day, one skipped workout here and there, and suddenly you're in a place you never intended to be. The same is true on the other side. One good choice, one tough decision. One productive hour, one more rep, you keep doing it, you stack it. You stay consistent when others quit, and that is how you break through. But the challenge is, you can't always see the progress. That's why it's so hard. Because growth is quiet, discipline is boring, consistency is invisible until it's not. Until one day you wake up and your identity has shifted. You don't recognize the old you anymore, you've built something real. And everyone else thinks it happened overnight, but you know better. You know it was built in the dark. It was built in the early mornings, the late nights, the silent battles with self-doubt. It was built in the moments where you could have chosen easy, but chose better. You've got to start thinking in terms of momentum. You don't need to hit a home run every day. You just need to move the needle. You just need to do something that aligns with who you're becoming. Read 10 pages. Make one hard phone call. Meditate for 5 minutes. Choose water instead of soda. Those choices on their own don't seem like much, but stack them over a week, a month, a year, and that's when the shift happens. That's when you look back and realize how far you've come. And here's the beautiful part: once momentum is on your side, it does some of the work for you. Because action fuels clarity. Clarity builds confidence. Confidence drives more action. That cycle builds energy, and suddenly, what felt hard last month now feels natural. That's the compounding power of daily progress. It doesn't just change your results, it changes you. But if you stop, if you wait for motivation, if you pause because you're not seeing results fast enough, you kill the momentum. And every time you stop and restart, it gets harder. So stop waiting for the big moment. Stop needing to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step. Just win today. Keep the wheels turning, and remember, the goal isn't perfection, the goal is progress. There's a reason why the greats talk about the process. Because when you fall in love with the process, you detach from needing instant results. You stay grounded, you stay focused, you realize that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. And when you trust that, when you commit to that, the outcome becomes inevitable. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it's coming. It has to, because you've earned it. Because you kept showing up when it didn't make sense to. Because you understood what most people never grasp. That small steps done daily will one day lead to a life that feels impossible right now. And it all begins the moment you decide to keep going,